Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing a wrap-up for you. This includes books from both January and February since I didn't read very much in both months, so I just thought it would be easier to combine them. And technically the last book I read in this wrap-up I finished in March, the second day of March, so it's technically not just January and February, but I figured since I finished it so early that I would just include it anyway. The first book I read, which is the book I read in January, is 3 by Ted Dekker. Now this book I already did a review on. It's basically a thriller about someone who's being followed by a criminal who continues to give him riddles, and if he doesn't solve the riddles in time, bad things will happen. So there's more information about this in my review, and I'll put the link in the description if you want to check it out. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. Now the next two books, I do not have the actual physical copies with me because they were library books and I had to turn them in. The first book was The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. I really enjoyed this book. It was about a boy who grew up in a graveyard because he was basically orphaned and he ended up crawling into the graveyard. It's all about his adventures while he's in the graveyard and follows him as he grows up in his childhood. I really enjoyed this book as well. I thought it was really great and I loved the writing. I thought the writing was beautiful. Neil Gaiman is a great writer, at least from my experience. So I really enjoyed that. It wasn't something that I absolutely loved, but I really enjoyed it, so I gave it 4 out of 5 stars as well. The next book I read was also a Neil Gaiman book, and this was Stardust. This book is about Tristan. I cannot say that name well, I'm sorry. He is from a town that is on one side of a wall, and the wall is always guarded, the wall to the land of Fairy, and then there is the city that the people only go into the land of Fairy when there's some sort of festival going on. He is enraptured by this girl who is, I guess, one of the most beautiful girls in the town, and he talks to her one day and she says that she will kiss him if he gives her the fallen star that fell onto the side of Fairy, the other side of wall. So Tristan goes on an adventure to find this fallen star. And I thought this book was amazing. For me, this book was a lot better than The Graveyard Book, but I see that a lot of people think The Graveyard Book is better, so I don't know, but I absolutely loved this book. I thought it was a great adventure. I thought it was magical, and it just had all the elements of a fantasy adventure story that I loved, and all of this happened in such a short story. It was less than 300 pages, but I just felt that there was so much going on and it was very entertaining. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. And the last book that I read, technically finished in March, but started in February, is Quiet by Susan Cain. I know this isn't a book that was actually on my TBR for the month, but I really wanted something more nonfiction. I was just kind of getting a little tired of the book I was reading, The Archer's Tale, and I really didn't want to read it anymore. So I picked this one up. So this book is a nonfiction book about introversion and a lot of elements of introversion that people might overlook. And basically the US is a very extroverted country in many aspects. And so sometimes introverts might feel a little like outsiders in that kind of world. So this talks about a lot of the aspects of introversion and a lot of studies that are done, and I thought it was very interesting. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. So that's all the books that I read in January and February-ish. So I will be doing my March TBR very soon. I know it's already March, but I will hopefully get that video out in a few days, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye!